Hey guys, my name is Seniac and welcome back to the third episode of Dead End here in City Skylines. Guys, you seem to be enjoying the series so much so far. If you are, again, still enjoying it and you want to see more episodes, then please make sure you smash that like button down below. Subscribe if you haven't already, guys. If you want to see more episodes in the future, you will be notified if you do subscribe. Who would have known? But guys, last episode we added in our very first passenger train line, which is probably going to be the preferred mode of transportation throughout the region, throughout the town-to-town kind of system that we're going to have set up. And today we're going to take a look at expanding on those train lines, not the same train lines, and adding in our very first cargo line. Because all of a sudden right now, our industrial area is starting to ramp up a bit as I'm starting to see a whole lot more traffic heading over there. And hopefully we can expand our little bit of a town that we've got created to basically getting a little bus route that collects everybody around the town and takes them directly to the train station, which can then pass them directly over to the industrial area. So guys, I asked you last episode to give me some name suggestions for our brand new little town. And I think there was one that kind of stood out the most to me, which kind of made a lot of sense. And that was to call our little town Tumbleweed. I mean, I know it's the stereotypical deserted, desert, isolated town in the middle of nowhere. But I just thought it was such a good little, name, Tumbleweed. That is what we're going to go with. Now, don't worry, guys. There's going to be a bunch of other towns that we do and little villages that we do create throughout the series that you're going to get to rename anyway. But there we go. I'll rename this then to Tumbleweed Station. There we go, guys. There we go. And I think it only makes sense that we also give our industrial area a little bit of a region too. So if you want to give our little industrial area a name as well, guys, there we go. Just give it in the comment section down below, and you might be lucky enough to get it renamed. So I appreciate it, guys, but we need to look at some systems and setting up. So imports and exports is what we need in this area right now. Now, at the moment, the industrial area, we don't really have any industrial demand. But the vehicles are starting to ramp up on this road alone, so by adding in the imports and exports that outside of the region is going to be a big help. Now, the only thing is, for the commercial side of things, when they want their imports, we're going to have the line get directed to over here. So maybe at some point it expands and goes over to there or whatever, I don't know, but we're just going to kind of set up the industrial area first. Now, before we do that, we're going to take a look at this area and kind of expand the town down a bit. You guys gave me some really good ideas into what I could get set up here. And you said not so much to create this going all the way across, but make it go underground, then pop up over here. Then everything that we build on this side then has to then kind of follow the line of the train line. It was just a way to kind of, keep this in, which I thought was a really good idea. So we'll continue from here. Which we kind of have to anarchy it just because of how it's kind of set up. And I'll make it go down by -10 just there. And then we'll make this just simply go all the way up to here. And it'll eventually pop up. And then wherever it goes left or right, then how we build is then determined how far we can with the train line. It was just a nice little way to kind of get the trains in and out, which I think was pretty cool. Which I should now be able to get that little bit of section just here with some residential. Nice. So I want to expand down a bit more. I want to get more buildings, more people living on the other side of the train line so we can really utilize and get more people using it. Which I thought, is going to be a really good idea. So let's get out of underground mode then. Let's get back up to normal. And we're going to continue and follow the current line. So going straight down to here is 30. But we're going to cut it to about there by 20 because I don't want that here to be the connection there. I want to give it a little bit of space and connect in there. Just so if we have to eventually set up a roundabout or something like that, we've got plenty of space around. Pushing this all the way across, and we're keeping the 10 by 10 format on this side rather than this side. I know it's slightly off, but it is what it is. Down to there, and if I bring that into there, and can I connect this up as well? Bam. So there's our connections on this side. But as of here, we're now pushing the lines up going in that direction. So that will be directly in the middle. And this pushing on the way through should be beautiful enough. Now, we don't need these power lines tearing through here anymore. So we're going to delete all these. And we're going to run the power lines now around the outside of the town. Run them around the outside and back into play mode. We are good to go. Sweet, mate. So this is our kind of design. This is our little format that we've got going on. We're keeping these big blocks in, making it still as walkable as we can possibly get it. And I think when it comes to like an area like this, where at the minute it feels like it's completely off, do I do a dirt path? I think a dirt path looks a little bit nicer. I suppose it fits within the theme a bit more, doesn't it? A dirt path. What do you think? Or do I go for like a normal path? I could do like a park path where it's got like... You can't upgrade it, can you? No. Well, we can upgrade this. Actually, no. We'll keep it to the concrete path because looks like it's got little cracks and stuff in which look really, really cool. Yeah, we'll keep it to that. Just so we kind of, makes it as walkable as possible. And then we've got this area set up right now. So we got quite a big residential demand. So I'm going to fill these two sections and this one over here with residential. Then we'll push a little bit of commercial around the edges when needs be. I'll move the water down right now. It's a little bit funky, but it doesn't really matter when you kind of get to the edge. So that will now slowly start building all up. And then bring a lot more people into the region, which might then spark a little bit of industrial demand as they're going to start needing jobs for these brand new workers and just kind of entice a little bit more going on. Now, I don't think... I reckon, say where this is here, this line is probably as far as... Actually, you know what? What would be better to kind of do it? I'm going to kind of zone now Tumbleweed, and wherever this zoning kind of goes is probably as far as Tumbleweed is ever going to grow. So if I do it to about here, and then when it comes to this kind of area, it's not going to go like any further. Oh, no, I'm creating new districts right now. It's not going to go any further than there, and then probably around about to there. So that where that region is now, I think that's as far as Tumbleweed as a town is going to grow. It's not going to go any further than that. And then after this area here, then you probably start to think about dropping another town there. Maybe getting a small little town down here, another town here. And they won't merge. There'll be a clear separation. You can 100% tell. But that's, I think, what the game plan is going to be and how we're going to get it all set up. So I think for now, Tumbleweed will be the biggest town that we build until maybe when we kind of progress further around the region. And then we kind of like, you never know, we could eventually build like an industry, or we could have like a whole town set up on the entry of here, or, down here. You never know. You just never know how it's going to go. Like I said, I have no plans for this series. I'm just going to build where and as I feel it works. So, there we go. Beautiful. Beautiful. And that will now slowly start kind of using that residential demand. So we can now take a look at potentially getting in our commercial line. Now, for a commercial line, again, I don't know on there. I'm going to put it on this side of the road. I think eventually I'll have them running side by side. But for the sake of trying to save a little bit of cash money moolah, I'm going to do them, not by merging, because I have to delete them to put them back in. It's going to be a big pain. Build one line rather than delete and then build two lines. Right, let me go to the industrial roads right now. Where are they? There they are. And I think I'm going to have it come off, say, this lane here. Like I've done it on this side. Now, if I did that, how much is a cargo train terminal? 60,000. Right, it's quite close to the edge, unless I stick it on this side instead. Or I go back by one more, because that's where the kind of hills and mountains are starting to begin. And I place it here instead. So 60,000 if I drop it there. Right, I know I'm spending a lot of money right now. If I turn it off real quick, so I'm not wasting, the weekly cash flow, I'm still in the green. Now, the problem we're going to have is this road here going through is going to get really, really busy just because they're all trying to push over to over there. So I'm thinking about having another road passing through, but obviously I don't want it to go for the train line. So what if I elevated a road over to come down? Would that work? There's only really one way to find out, isn't there? So I know it's pretty close to there. So what if I... So I've got... There's a couple of ways I can do this. Alright, there is a couple of ways. Going from down there is 30. So that is a 10. So I could bring that up to... Let me do it down here. Bring that to the 10 there. Because it kind of then matches this. And I could do a... Because I know going across there is now 20. So if I did a 10 by 10... but elevated it. So they do a 10 by 10 like that. I mean, I don't think that works very well. I don't think it works at all. So maybe kill that off. I gotta think of a better way, haven't I? But then it is elevating it gonna fit within the theme? That's the other question, isn't it? But then, I know I'm not going to go any further down this way because of the sheer cliff edge. So what if I move this to more towards the back end of it? I think that might be the better option. And the smarter option. So if I ran this road... So by there is 6. If I did 14, I know that it then is a straight 20. Yeah. Up to there. And then if I mean, I could create a very simplified setup here, couldn't I? Like, if I did this singular lane here. So if I went... Well, if I did it to there, and then went across... Alright, let me delete. Right, come up by 5. Go across by 5, and across by 5. Then go up by 5 up here. So hold on, I'm just creating the little system right now. To go back to this. So what you would want is that going in there, that coming out. Now, I think this is too manufactured, isn't it? I feel like this system's going to be way too manufactured. Yeah, I think so. I think so. So keeping it like that then. If I go up by 10... down to here and down to here. It kind of ends there. And if I move this... How much is that costing me to move it? 12,000? Oh my goodness me. If I drop this there... So it's on the very end of it. You know, if you're on this side, you come this way up. If you're on this side, you come up this way. No one's tripping over one another on the main road coming in. And then that is able to push around and go to back and then travel out. I mean, I could take it... drop it down there, but it's just a sheer drop. It doesn't feel natural to kind of do something like that. And then at least this area is kind of set up quite nice. So I've got to be a bit careful because I'm spending money like crazy. And this is going to be really expensive right now, trying to get all these train tracks in. So if I went to there by 60, now that is technically away by 10. And that is away by so much there. So let me see what we can do here. So that is a 14 by 14 bend. And out it goes. Keep it really, really simple. But I'm now down to 9,000 in the bank. So we got to get some other ways first to make some money. Before we start going a little bit crazy on that front. We really do need to start making some money, which is probably a good idea at some point to start thinking about building an industry. So that might be a good idea. Guys, let's take a little look at this then. So if it was to build an industry, I think one of the easiest ones to do from the get-go is to build a fishing industry because I haven't got to plan anything huge. It's got to be near water. But forgetting that, we've got a big oil patch over here and some mining up in the mountains. A little bit of farming land down there and lots of farming and fertile land at the bottom. Big oil patch there with more ore in the mountains, more ore in the mountains just up here. What do you reckon would be the go-to or the kind of starting point for an industry? Because we got to get something set up because we need money coming in. Because I can't just rely on this. I need an industry backing up Dead End. Just kind of get us kind of going. So if you take a look at this side of it and break it down, there's oil here. All the rough-edged mountains is ore. oil there. There's some oil here, also mixed with fertile land all around here. There's some oil just there as well. Or there's fishing, obviously, for all the rivers and the waters. Let me know, guys, in the comment section what you think the best idea would be. It's interesting. It's definitely interesting. So we're getting a little bit more of a commercial demand. So I think I'm going to run down this strip here. Now, it's not to say that they're going to build all this commercial. Run it down to there. Get the residential on this side all filled in too. So there's a little bit less residential on this side because of how this kind of plays out. And for the sake of making it look kind of nice, obviously this road's going to come out to there. You know, just to kind of make it look like, you know, this is the town end. You know, to fit within the theme, rather than just having like that straight road there. It ends like that. Water, we push these pipes just down a little bit more. There we go. So we're down 6,000, but now we've got like big money coming in. So we'll have a little fast forward then and wait for some money to kind of tick along. Because it's going to be quite expensive to build this. Having a train line bending around and going out. And I really want to keep them separate because we've had troubles and issues in the past where a lot of my series I haven't really utilized passenger trains because it all comes down to the cargo. I have so many trains on cargo lines, well, and like all the lines are connected as one anyway, that I always kind of see passenger trains as getting in the way of my cargo. So if I have separate lines, and I'm never ever going to think like that. So yeah, it's going to be quite expensive. So if I run... So I know that is quite close to it, but if I leave this one quite far out... So at that point there, they're semi-running together. And if I was to build this all the way up to there by 80, it's going to cost me 4,800. Holy smokes. That just got super expensive. And if I run it down on the straightest section here... Run a train line there, and I've got to do some kind of connection leading into this as well. This is why, you know, it's also going to be kind of expensive. But I'm making good money at the minute. We are making kind of, you know, semi-good money. And I wonder what type of bend would take place if I went so elaborate here. Yeah, that wouldn't work. That's too much. I'm just wondering how far over we've got to... That wasn't far off. But it still doesn't feel right. If I bring that to there... Ooh! How much is that going to cost me? 3,700? Okay, I got the money to do that. That wasn't half bad. As a complete and utter guess, that wasn't half bad. We got some water issues right now. Yes, we do. So, water and sewage is... Oh, see, just when we were doing pretty good, now we got to spend some money on utilities. So, a little bit of water coming in. They're going to need the sewage. So I got to spend now 2,500 when I could have spent this on train stuff. How are we doing on the city statistics anyway? How is power? Garbage processing is a lot low. Oh, it was only low because I take it the garbage facility didn't have like sewage or water. Electricity is good right now. Okay, we're kind of okay. Employment chance is pretty high. Right, okay, so money I didn't want to spend just got spent. And that train line leading out doesn't look too shabby. It looks a bit weird that they're both separate, but eventually maybe I can kind of have them run simultaneously together to so far before they do split. Just so they look normal. But that won't change until I change this whole highway system. So for now, this is just what it's going to be. It's just what it's going to be. So I want to now get these guys over here connected. Okay. So where would this run down to? Because I'm trying to also... That runs are kind of in just there. So I'm not saying I'm going to get a perfect bend. But I want to get close. So that is I did a 66 before it connected. So that's a 66 just there. And that should semi-be a perfect bend. So there's a little bit of an edge it clips there, but I kind of like when it does stuff like that. It kind of looks like we carved into it to make this perfect. And that comes straight in and out. Wonderful. So we got a little bit of a wiggle to kind of play around with over here, but I think our biggest thing that we got to tackle is this. So I won't get it connected up to this section yet. I'll kind of keep it to this one because it's the closest bit to the edge of the region. So enable us to kind of bring stuff in and out a whole lot easier. Now, under or over is the question. Under or over? I'm thinking I'm going to go under. I'm going to go under for a change. Normally I would go over. So if I page this down then. And, oh, not enough money. So if I went minus 10, 4,200. If I went plus 10, 1,820. So it's technically cheaper to go up rather than low, which makes complete and utter sense. But I just feel like it's maybe better. Is the cheaper side of it pulling me in? I think it is. Just because it's going to be technically cheaper. Now if I bring that to there. And if I had that here. Where do these two meet? So from this side. Or from this side. So there it's a 19 by 14. It's so difficult to get done. So maybe I'm going to shorten the distance a bit more if I do another 6 there. So that is by 9. That's by 8. It's kind of difficult because of how this is now all connected. This is why I should have went underground. Really, isn't it? I'm going to stick to going underground. I'm going to have to pull it out alone. We'll take a... I'll take a 60 grand one because the weekly cost is a lot lower. And it should enable me now to complete this complete line. So I'll go minus 10. And if I... We'll go 7 there. And we'll do a 7 by 7 to there. And then to here. We'll bring it up. There we go. Simplistic, easy, effective. So to here. And then... run it semi-close to the road so it kind of bends with it, complements it. Done, simple, easy. So technically now then I can turn on the cargo station, but the cargo station costs us 1,440 to run. So by having this in, we best see a huge benefit right now. The industrial area is super happy that we now have it. We need to get some water over here. Have they got power? They should be, yep. So, industrial, I'm seeing demands now creep up. So, we might now start get a little bit less traffic. Only traffic that comes in and out of the region because we can now technically import-export via train. And we're now going to be waiting for that first train to come in. So, I'm just kind of glancing around. Following it all the way down. No train coming in just yet. But we'll give it some time. So more industrial now being built over here. So this area is going to get quite populated. We've got to be a little bit careful how big we do go. I think this is probably as big as we want to take it. You know, the current roads that we have, that's as far as we go with that. I'm trying to glance around to see if I can see a train anywhere. Not yet. It takes a minute or two to kind of register. But once I see a train, then I know that line is completely working fine. But yeah, that's going to be a little bit of an issue, this. But there's really, really simple ways in which we can evolve and solve it. But I want to see how it changes once we get them trains coming in and out, because it might just completely reduce the traffic in its entirety. Can you make a train? Somebody, please? Can somebody make a train? I just want to make sure that this line is working. Vehicles are going in and out as if the line does work. You know, it's got to wait long enough for it to generate a train. Right, again, I'm just glancing around at the train lines. I see no trains just yet. No trains just yet. I don't know how much longer we need to wait. Right, I think while we wait them, we'll take a look at doing something with this. So we'll go for that. No, not a 4-lane national road. There is smaller ones. Which would... Explosions. It basically would be these. Now the thing is, do you know what? I thought to myself then, let me just double check for trains. I thought to myself, having this is going to reduce the traffic, but then I think to myself, all the commercial is going to want to import and export goods over here. It's going to make this road completely busy anyway. So it makes sense. So if I upgrade that road to this, and I do the same just here, and I do it on both sides there. Now I could stick a roundabout there. I really could stick a roundabout here, but this is how it's pretty much going to work. We'll use lane connectors. So we're going to have right turns on each one, and then the other ones are straight over and left. That's how it's going to work there. So we'll do this first, and another big thing as well is people crossing the road here. We're going to keep an eye on that. So this will decipher the traffic a little bit easier as it pulls in. But ultimately, it is what it is. Like, there's going to be a lot of traffic. I could get rid of the connections here, stick a roundabout there as they enter in, and then stick a roundabout further up. But that is something that we got to be well aware of. But by splitting them into 2 lanes, when we do get the big bulk of traffic coming in like it did just there, it just makes it a whole lot easier for them to skedaddle in and out. Now, we're not seeing any cargo trains coming in, which is actually kind of worrying me slightly. It is slightly worrying me that we've got no cargo trains coming in. Or going out. So they're all returning to the facility, the ones coming out. It's not like a glitch system where they're like spawning in. Interesting. Very interesting. But you can see that we are going to need that additional connection coming in. So I think here we maybe stick a roundabout in. And it would probably be the connection that leads in down to like a second town over on this side. So we've all got future plans for it. It's no biggie. But I'm not liking the fact that we're seeing no cargo coming in. This is interesting. Sometimes just saving the game and then reloading it can solve that issue. Because by now we should see at least one cargo train coming in, because they're using it. It's all vehicles that are coming out are returning to facility, like they've dropped off their goods. It's not they've been spawned in because there's a little bit of a glitch system or whatnot. Alright, okay, we'll keep an eye on that. My main focus right now is actually trying to turn a profit still. So, let me take a look at the population. So, 6% unemployed. We could go for a few more residents, but we could also go with a few more jobs. Now, does that mean more commercial being dropped down? I think it does. We'll kind of follow it down to here. And we'll follow the natural patterns that we've been doing, because eventually we're going to have it round here anyway. It's all got water. So that will provide a lot more jobs, which will then spark a lot more goods coming in and out, and then spark a lot more bigger residential kind of growth. How's the Mary Miller Park doing? Pretty good. We're going to expand over here right now to kind of cause more residents that would walk through the park to the train station to try and generate a little bit more revenue on that side. Still no train coming in. Right, I have connected this, right? I know I have connected it, because I wouldn't have the lines. They wouldn't be driving into the train station if it wasn't connected, is what I'm trying to say. Right, I'm going to have to reload the game in just a moment. I'll do it in just a moment. We'll do it in just a moment. But we're making a little bit of profit right now, which is good to see. Even though that junction's not the greatest, it's not doing too bad upholding it until we do create like a better system. But we definitely need to do something here, because we can't keep going on with what's going on right now. But yeah, okay, do you reckon we're now comfortable in making the money that we're now making? I think so. Right, I'll quickly save the game and reload it, just to hopefully sort out this little bit of an issue with the trains not coming in. Not too sure what's going on, but simple save and reload might fix it. It could be the fact that I turned this on and off. Maybe it's kind of messed something up. And there we go, guys. A simple reload of the save game has now fixed everything. We got our first cargo train coming in. And it's 100% full. Holy moly. Which would mean at any moment now, if it hasn't already, we should see a cargo train leaving. Maybe. At some point. I don't know. But yeah, got it all working now. A little bit of an issue, but we're all good. That cargo train should now be on its way in. It's chugging along. Will we see another one soon? Yeah, there's a second one right there. I like how it wiggles all the way through. It's kind of cool, isn't it? So train comes in, drops off a load of the goods, as you can now see. Makes things a whole lot more easier. So I think we should take a look at dropping a roundabout just here. That will then split into multiple directions. Just makes things a whole lot easier for us in the long run. Because traffic is now we can actually get goods in and out. Now we're starting to see a lot of vehicles coming down. So I need to take care of this. So basically, a roundabout before we enter it, so we can split them into all different directions. So I'm going to pause. And we're now going to delete. So delete all of this. Down to there. And what I'll do is we'll create a little bit of a crossroad. So if this came down to here, and then we came up to about 10 there. And if I bring the roundabout mod up right now, and I dropped it here, so if I do a 60 on a, is it 2-lane highway? I want to kind of replicate what we're doing over there. Yes, it is. Just here. Right, delete you, delete you, delete you, delete you. And then we can decipher the traffic up this way. So it's going to be a bit interesting, because it's also technically quite close to there. Unless we get it all highlighted right now. And just kind of slightly position it. So say I put it right here in the middle of this area. Say about there. Or further back. I say about here. Because there's a couple of entry points that I want to utilize. So, okay. And we're going to use the national roads, obviously. So if I utilize, well, this will be our first one that comes down a 7 by a 7 to bend up and go that direction, right? I'm going to have one. We're going to have to anarchy into this, which is annoying at the best of times. That passes through and it will eventually connect down to here. And of course, one that comes up to here. But we want to be a little bit careful. So coming out. So is that a 10 by there, by the way? Yeah. So say one coming out here. Would literally be like that. But it's in how I wiggle it down to here. Is the main one. Like, I could go all the way up to here and then, like, bend it round, but that doesn't really look normal. I could just literally have a straight connection there. Boys, what's going on? It doesn't mean that... It means all them three there are going to be pretty close. But the roundabout, because it's 2 lanes on the roundabout, it should kind of set it all up quite nice. And then there probably won't be a need to have that double road system in this. And we can go back to a normal road system because I would have split them off into their various directions, so not everyone's going down that way is what I'm trying to say. And then obviously this one would come off, so I could do a 10 there. Hold on. So if I got this to run, let me delete this back to there, and then got this to run parallel to a certain extent to here, then that 10 there would have a 5 by 5. So it bends in and runs away. That's how we're going to approach this roundabout. That is literally how we're going to approach this roundabout. Whether it works or not, I don't know. But then again, do I ever know? No, is the answer. So that went to there. That went to there. This is my issue, because they're so close. It ain't going to work on that one. So what I'd do, delete that. We'll have it come from... Ooh, okay, it actually can come from over here. So if I went there, like that. Right. And then we kind of need this to do something a little bit different as well. So if I go a 5 to there. That bend needed to be a little bit more. Because then I can then bring that down or something just to kind of complete this a little bit better. Right, the roundabout's now going a little bit off-shaped, but we can sort that out. There we go. So, very funky is the answer. Very funky. But let's do what we can do to bend these in. This could work out really well, and at the same time, it could not. So we've actually gone for a standard, standard simplified roundabout right now. If I push that over a bit, push that in a bit, push that over a bit more. And then that will come round, probably go straight into one of the, probably this one. And then that road can come down and connect in. Or something like that. I don't know how much this is going to work. I don't know. I don't really like this bend coming up and away. But it just kind of adds in that additional connection that keeps us everyone away from going from this. So let's say, I mean, I could do it with this one. But it means from that connection here, that's 7, that's 8, 7. So there is going to be a stop there, but, you know, that's the theme of it. So at least it's a tad bit closer. And if that went up, we'll get to here. So if I go to there, and from this point, an 8 by 9. Oh, it's a 6. Let me delete back. I know it's an 8 now anyway. So 8 by 8. Create a little T just there, but that allows us to have this road connect to there. So you could slit into there and drive down. Make the distance a little bit shorter. Or worst case scenario, I'd pull it off this road. Again, hopefully not allowing them to drive all the way down there. You never know, but when I build up over here, it makes this road more, or make it more utilized. I'm not liking this still. I'm still not liking this, how it bends and snakes around. It just doesn't feel right. So what if I brought it out by to here? 8 by 10. So if I go there, oh, hold on. That's a 7. 7 by 8. Does it feel better on that side? It still doesn't, no. Alright, actually, no, delete it. Delete it. And let's see what would be natural. So, if I did have a connection here. It's a bit of a tough one, isn't it? So I go by 5. I do a 5 by 5 here. And at some point, a 4. Come down a bit more on this. Who would have thought this? Oh, what's going on? Who would have thought this would have been the tricky one? A 5 to there. A 5 by 7. See, it doesn't look as bad when it looks like this. Like that. And if I then, with the move it tool, does that look as bad now? I suppose it doesn't. I'm going to try and make this go a little bit further out. So the bend plays in a little bit nicer. That doesn't look as bad now. I think it was just because of the sheer bend that we had on that road. It kind of threw it out of place a little bit. So let's quickly set out this roundabout then. Let's just quickly set this all up. Now I'm going to do it all manually. I know you guys want me to kind of do the, you know, the shortcuts for it, but I like to do it manually. I don't know what it is about doing it more manually. So all the roads leading in can't flow on. Traffic on the roundabout is able to flow. Giving way. So if you're joining the roundabout, oh, let me delete that. You're giving way. I think everyone wants me to do it like, you know, the automatic way. You can kind of set it up because it also does all the lane connectors, doesn't it? So with that then, if I put it into play mode and let them sort themselves out. So straight away you can see people going to the right. So you can see people going to the left. Not too many vehicles going to the left, but every vehicle that goes to the left, like up this way, is one less vehicle going straight down. But I feel like we're still going to have such demand coming down this way anyway, that I still feel like we're probably still going to need 4 lanes there. Unless, once that's now clear, we're all good. It'll be interesting to see what happens when a train comes. So that one passed through just fine. Let me see when it goes back out. I like how they have to stop. It does make it a pretty cool feature. I mean, the problem is if there's too many vehicles coming down this way, it might back up on the roundabout, but it will soon clear after. So I think having that little roundabout there has really, you know, decipher the traffic a whole lot easier. Having the ability to export is pretty good too, but I've just noticed that I'm now spending a lot of money. So let me take a look at my, I mean, I could play around the taxes, but I'm going to play around the taxes. Let's just go 10% on all this. And how much does that change it for us now? So that puts us into the green slightly. But for how long is the question? Yeah, we're now slowly coming out of the minus, which is good to see. So over here we have not enough educated workers, so they're now wanting education, but I can't give it to them just yet. Because we can't afford it, is the base of it. A little bit more residential being thrown down right now, just to kind of spark a few things going, but I feel like we've got this in the bag. There's still a few little areas that we do need to solve. They do keep stopping there, so there's still a few little bits and bobs. So fix that. Fix it just there as well. But by allowing those other additional connections has really reduced this, even though it's still going to be quite demanding, that little strip of road there. Again, I might put them 4 lanes on there, but as of right now, it's kind of okay. It's kind of okay. Got the little beautiful roundabout there. We'll probably eventually have this connect up to there and do a roundabout there as well. So again, it takes the heat off all of these bits and bobs. There's a little more dedicated turning lanes. I think they're doing the same just here as well, aren't they? There's moments where they slow down, which is annoying. Oh, wrong one. There we go. And I probably have to do it over here too. But we'll leave that one for now anyway, because I'm going to completely change that at some point anyway. But I'm loving these little roundabouts. They are pretty cool. They're doing a job just for us. Very nice. Got a little cargo train line in right now, and we're now back to making that sweet, sweet money. So a little factory's burned down, which is not good. We're going to need some fire coverage over here, aren't we? But I can't, again, it's something that I can't freaking afford right now. So they're going to have to wait. They're going to have to wait. We got budget issues, which is why we probably really do need that industry in Dead End. But there we go, guys. The little town of Tumbleweed right now. It's slowly rocking and rolling. It's slowly coming together. We got imports coming in. We got imports going out. We've extended the town a little bit right now, which is starting to look pretty nice. We've sorted out some of the road systems too, which allow the traffic to flow a whole lot better. And guys, if you did enjoy this episode, please smash that like button down below. If you're new around here, make sure you do subscribe. And until next time, I'll see you all soon. So good. Bye.